Buonasera.
You have my attention.
Allora,
Get any rest? I sure didn't.
Should be plenty of organic materials to harvest from this world.
ok, la chat funziona. Dunque, devo andare a...
Hope you're ready.
Another successful fight. Captain, it is pleasant to see you.
È stato tanto veloce. Fin troppo.
Was that you? Looks like the last of them. So, what have we got?
Dunque, ok. Sto facendo cose a caso essenzialmente, ma vorrei andare a fare la missione. Sì, vabbè, finiamo di scansionare sta roba. In realtà non me ne faccio niente di scansionare sta roba. Ma proprio davvero niente. Boh, adesso che ho fatto sta roba super utile, super importante. Leggi la tavola. Leggiamo la tavola. Allora. mm, C'è sta roba. Ci arriviamo dalle scatole.
I picked up something you might be interested in.
I asked my boss what they're doing to stop the new alien attack.
A good Cabernet is a... And you made it back alive, which already... I trust you've brought my property with you. I did not. But it seems to have all worked out in the end. When you're in my position, it often does. Excellent. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have business to attend to. See you.
Va bene. Facciamo pure questa. Ci leviamo ste missioni e poi andiamo diretti a picchiare i terrormorfi. Che mi sembra cosa buona e giusta.
I have things for you.
Ling.
Ship is now docked. Perfect. Didn't even smudge the paint.
Allora, devo mettere un po' di rame nella stiva. Penso fa sto lavoro qua a mano tutte le volte. Davvero infernale.
Drop some of that rubbish already.
Ah, hello.
Volevi parlare ancora, vero?
I suppose now you can add climbing the corporate ladder to your list of accomplishments. I think it is perhaps for the best that the research program will come to an end. Where that neuroamp technology could lead, there... Except you, perhaps. You do still have one in your head. I consider this to be a much safer outcome than nearly any other. And before you joke, yes, that is a compliment. And if you are the only one with this neuroamp, I know exactly who to keep an eye on. I suggest you keep that in mind. With the neuroamp matter settled, we should... If you are free soon, could we talk? It has been a relief to be honest with you about my past, but talking about this, remembering all... You did not grow up on my world or as part of my culture. I would not expect you to understand. I have told you that I spent many years coordinating with smugglers along the edge. There were men and women I worked alongside closely. And over time, I established relationships. It describes the people of House Varun. We who have been promised to serve the great. In exchange, he promises to care for us. When he... Yes, I have found that to be true. It was... You must understand. I was raised to believe that those who do not follow the Great Serpent do not matter, for they are lost. And yet here were these men and women with... It felt like a small betrayal of my people. It's not something I have much It was so sudden. We had met on a remote planet to transfer cargo. There was barely time to react. So many were... I believe my years of training saved me, got me moving when others faltered. Aaron Bascom and Jada Wong. They were my... I have no doubt they were resourceful. Still, in my time getting to know you, I have thought more and more of all this. How little sense it all made, how my connection to you has reminded... I need to finally pursue this. I am not sure I will find... I am not sure where...
Va bene. Ora subito devo farla. Vabbè.
Deimos has certainly bound itself to the UC military, for better or worse.
Deimos has every time. Let me see your manifest. We'll unload that, and that's the full. We don't have any more in.
Mai più.
Deimos and the UC are inexorably tied together.
You deserve the best of the best.
One fails, the other does.
The best decision.
Sì, certo. B21, B27. Meh. Tenere. Questa qua posso venderla oramai in realtà. Peccato, era una buona nave.
I might not mind seeing that.
When you get serious about your spacecraft, come back to Deimos.
Sì.
I wish Deimos was a...
Allora, L. Andiamo a fare questa. Iniziamo ad andare qua e capiamo. Mm.
You're just sitting there with no ram drive now.
Direct into that ram drive.
Sì, in effetti, ovviamente, a livelli alti sta roba si fa in 2 secondi.
Seems to be having trouble. Too bad. So sad. Time to cycle the airlock and move.
Mm.
Come then. Meet your death.
Nothing there. Quite. Once again, we are triumphant. Always worth checking. Never know what you might find in their pockets.
Va bene. In realtà le risorse non dovrei prendere. Comunque. Va bene.
Ships separated. Engaging drive.
Cosa vince questa missione? Va bene, rimaniamoci a fare quello che dobbiamo fare. Anche perché è completamente sbagliato.
Ah! What a ride! Switching grav drive to normal propulsion.
General, you again. You're advised to leave. Let me check my logs. All right, you can proceed. We'll let them know you're on your way down.
L'avevo detto.
Site is clear. Descent started.
Well, well. Back for more, eh?
Come on. There are worlds to conquer. Hydrocarbons in
Ma già che sono
abundance.
con la tizia.
Let us see how they have arranged themselves.
I have heard of Londonian. Anyone who has spent time in the United Colonies space has. Of course. Now I understand why the stories persist.
Inside the barriers, double time! You at the man post is at the far end of the compound inside the old Terror Brew. Give him one for me, all right?
I pride myself on knowing everyone on this world, and I don't know you. You're with the collection team then, I presume. Either that, or you're one deeply unlucky trespasser. Vanguard, eh? Brief said you were an eclectic group. You must have really shined out on the fringe to get assigned a task like this. Ah, then this must be the rest of your outfit.
Commander Hatum,
No need for introductions, Major Sanon. Dr. Walker, your reputations precede you, as does the urgency of your mission, so I'll get to it. Now, Londinian is one of the most dangerous places in the Milky Way. It's for good reason my soldiers and I do everything we can to avoid entering the city. Terramorphs are omnipresent, and the structural damage left behind when Major Sanon's father bombed its spaceport has turned large swathes of the metropolis into a decaying labyrinth. As such, we'll be providing you all with gear, information, and uploading municipal unlock codes to your robot. Every tool you could need to succeed out there. Except one. Once you're on the other side of those barriers, you will be on your own. If you get into trouble, my people will not be coming. Do we understand each other? The initial Terramorph outbreak that overran Londinian during the tail end of the colony war came as a complete shock. Waves of the creatures appeared out of nowhere, and the city was quickly overwhelmed. There were some attempts at evacuation, but Ve Victus decided more definitive action was merited. He ordered the spaceport to be bombed, ensuring no other ships could leave the city, halting the spread of the outbreak but leaving large sections in ruins and condemning countless lives. And the intervening 20 years have only made Londinian more hostile, not less. So my people will not be coming for you out there. Understood? Precisely. I'll leave you to your preparations then. You can find your equipment in our armory, base of the tower just outside. And I do believe there's someone waiting for you there, Captain. Now, once you're outside the base, it's my personal suggestion you make a beeline to the nearby Aceles plant. It contains one of our field caches. Though I can't guarantee it won't contain anything else. I hope you all find what you're looking for out there. Robot, you're coming with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Commander. Percival, you all set to hook into their comms tower?
Should only take a few minutes. Let's get this done and get the hell out of here.
Percival will be scanning the city for our samples from here. When he finds one, he'll transmit the coordinates to us out in the field. All right. Head over to the armory and gear up. Once you're done, we'll meet by the entrance to the city.
Va bene.
Hello.
Word of advice while you're out there. Don't trust what the voices tell you.
Yes. What? You match our description. Make sure you had the best tools for the task at hand.
Beh, può essere interessante. Cosa che purtroppo non si può dire. Questo tutto che è anche fighissima, per carità. Che figo il casco. Ma io non posso usarlo perché? Perché sono già un'armatura migliore raccolta dagli scarti tipo. Però va bene così.
Transfers complete. Those codes will allow you to temporarily restore power to... Systems should shut themselves back down automatically.
Duly noted, Commander.
All set on your gear? Are you ready to do this? Then let's get... Kaiser? Percival, everything green on your ends?
I am ready. Personal comm should be routed through Kaiser now. You copy that?
Roger, loud and clear.
Perhaps too loud.
Oh, you're a riot robot.
Kaiser, kick it off.
Unlock code transmitted. You may open the gate when ready.
All right. On our way into the city. Percival, where are we heading?
Running the first sweep. Got one. A Sealy's. Not far. Old shipping yard just past the processing plant. Gene samples are probably in one of the containers.
These things, they're all dominated. Clean them out and keep an eye out for the morph controlling them.
Be advised. Possible threat detected.
Vuoi prendere il controllo, ma non ce la fa?
Initiating target elimination. System suggests hostiles in area. Protocols active.
Mhm.
I hope you can succeed at that before we are discovered.
No sign of the morph, though.
Your shipping yard's just beyond the processing plant. Cache with some goodies is towards the rear of the facility.
Kaiser, we close enough for you to dial in the location of those samples from here?
Yes, they're faint, but I'm detecting multiple valid signatures. I have restored power to the containers.
Jackpot. Get down there and collect as many as you can.
Open fire!
Ste robe. Ok. Mhm. Va bene così.
All Asili's samples collected.
All right. Now hand those over to Kaiser, and let's get out of here.
Samples secure.
Nice work. Now, earlier scan picked up a valid terramorph sample, but, well, it's in the spaceport. And the quick route there looks like it got blasted when the port did.
There are steam tunnels under the city, which will allow us to access the spaceport.
What do you... That's right. Kaiser, how did you know that?
Not sure.
Percival, you see any better option?
Not from where I'm standing.
Got our answer.
Access unlocked. We may proceed.
Andiamo. C'è un bel F5.
Kaiser, this flora, this is Lazarus plant, isn't it?
Confirmed.
You know, no one even realized it was a living thing until someone got it under a microscope and saw it had cells. Can't be cultivated anywhere but Londinian. A real marvel.
Sì.
All these leeches. What's keeping you things warm?
Vediamo un pochino. Ma che figo sto casco. Ma non posso usarlo. Usare questo qua che sembra tipo l'equivalente della piazza.
What's
Bello.
that? My God, look at it. A Lazarus in bloom. You know, we might be some of the only... What's happening? Are you seeing this? Oh my God. The heat leeches are terramorphs.
But heat leeches infest every settlement, every corner of the settled systems. That means that every single one... Oh no.
You just saw that, right? You would tell me if I was losing my mind. That heat leech became a terramorph. The pests that have snuck onto every planet are baby terramorphs. Heat leeches hide out in ships, sneak away after landing, and then, with time, they transform. We just found out how terramorphs move between planets. That I don't have an answer for right now. But if they share a genome, like most nymphs and adults do, the microbe should have no problem dealing with heat leeches and terramorphs. The Aciles we'll have to look into. But given what we know about the creatures, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to find that they've got an appetite for both. I am sincerely inclined to agree, but current evidence suggests nature manages it just fine. The Lazarus plant. It's clearly an accelerant for the terramorph, a heat leech transformation process. Make one into the other in an instant. But that means if anyone knew about this, they could trigger a terramorph spawning. You could sneak a leech into a city, or even multiple leeches, into a place like New Atlantis. Good God. The attack on New Atlantis, does this... Could someone have set that up? But first, you'd have to know the truth about all this.
Well, we're never gonna know if you don't catch that thing. Get after it.
We may proceed.
Go!
Me l'ha appena detto.
Kaiser's got the cell data from the New Atlantis and Tau Ceti attacks, right?
Uploaded them myself.
Captain, let Kaiser take a look at that sample.
Beginning analysis. It is a match. This suggests with high certainty that the Lazarus plant was used to trigger the attacks on both planets.
There's no way a plant this rare, this fragile, just shows up here, New Atlantis, and Tau Ceti. The transformations on those worlds, they must have been triggered by human hands. Captain, do you understand what it is we just stumbled on here? Exactly. Someone saw the Lazarus plant in action and used it to trigger the attacks.
I wonder where they could have gotten such an idea, deploying alien life forms as weapons.
I wouldn't be shocked to find out our team, in part, inspired the approach, but our group never dealt with something that could have an effect like this. Makes some sense, actually. Tau Ceti was likely their first test, someplace remote where no one would question a few settlers going missing. Ensure the big show, the attack on New Atlantis, would be a success. And the timing of that one, it couldn't have been just luck that it happened right when we were asking the cabinet to do something about the terramorphs. These attacks, I think someone planned them to set all this in motion. It can't. At least, I didn't think it could. But maybe if we're right about this, someone found a way. They certainly were. But having this answer, well, it raises a couple big questions. Who could pull something like this off? And why?
Let's save the discussion for when you all aren't standing in the universe's closest equivalent to hell frozen over. If we're gonna do anything to prevent more terramorph attacks, human caused or otherwise, we need that final sample.
Roger that. Kaiser, get us into the spaceport?
The entrance is this way.
How are you?
To provide sufficient power to the lock mechanism.
Anyone got ideas where we could get some extra juice?
Local power looks like it was controlled in the security office. Upper floor.
Captain and I can scout it out. Kaiser, see if you can't find another way to get it open.
Roger that. I have restored power to the office entrance. You may proceed.
I mean...
There's the control panel. Still looks operable. Of all the things to survive.
Reactivated. Error. Control system reboot required.
And we do that... Ah, Captain. I think I see it.
Reboot engaged. Running diagnostic. Diagnostic complete. Multiple systems unavailable. Humanity safety concern detected. Exterior hatch power restored.
Back in business.
Già.
Warning. Emergency recorder message detected. Transcription process engaged. Playback initiated.
Admiral Sanon, we need to make the evacuation request.
That's my father he's addressing. He was here? Didn't think he'd have the guts to look those soldiers in the eye before blowing this place to pieces.
Admiral!
It just transformed. An invisible weapon. No planet would be safe. Colonel, the troops that closed off the sewers after my evaluation, they're all in this facility.
Other than our casualties, yes, sir.
Good. Get them into defensive positions around the spaceport. No one leaves. I'll send ships as soon as possible.
Thank God. None of us wanted to go down swarmed by those things.
That won't be your fate, Colonel. You have my word.
Transcription complete. Physical copy available.
An invisible weapon. He knew. He knew about the Lazarus plant. Grab that recording. We should talk. Hey, Victus. He destroyed this place. Killed these people to keep what he knew about the Lazarus plant and the Terramorphs and all this a secret. Didn't he? saw the potential of the plant as a weapon and hid it away. He killed those people to keep them from sharing what they might have seen. Condemned this whole city to death. He's...
That is a disgusting way to describe what happened here. Someone who truly knows what it means to command, to be in charge of, and responsible.
He decided to sentence his own soldiers to death. But if the plant was used to trigger the attacks, could Vey Victus have been...
What? And somehow in a position where he could be This is precisely why I cannot stand the United Colonies.
Good point. Deal with one monster at a time. Let's go get that final sample. Kaiser! Try it now!
No hostiles detected by near-range sensors.
Mm-hmm.
Unlock successful.
Guys, your sample, it moved. I'd be real careful out there if I were you.
That doesn't sound good. Eyes peeled. Just stash that sample with Kaiser and we're done.
Final sample secure.
All wrapped up. Time to get the hell out of here. Percival, you should unplug and find somewhere we can talk. Privately.
On it. See you soon.
Mhm. Va bene.
Look at all of you. Back from the underworld.
Mhm.
Got pretty frantic on the comms towards the end there. But it sounded like this was a success. Got everything we need to put this plan in motion. Can't be positive until we run some tests. But knowing that the Terramorphs have been masquerading as heat leeches all this time is a big find. Arguably makes things more feasible, now that we know what we're dealing with, not less.
Agreed. Plus, I don't think you're gonna have to push real hard to get folks on board with cleaning up one of the galaxy's greatest pests if this is what they're capable of.
But none of that's getting done without the samples. You do have them, right? Ah, best place for them. Now, my connection might have gotten a bit fuzzy there, but do I have it right that Vae Victus knew about this damn plant?
That's what it sounded like.
Guess the old Admiral must have told someone what he learned. Even he's not clever enough to pull off an attack like that from the great beyond.
It's a bit more complicated than that. Captain, he needs to know. Vae Victus is alive, which means he could have been involved in the attacks.
Alive? He's... Vae Victus? That can't be true, right?
Unfortunately for us all, yes, it's true.
So that means we have a suspect.
I believe that's exactly what that means. Look, Captain, Percival and I, we need to get these samples back to the lab. Ensure we'll be able to handle cleaning up the leeches as well as the Terramorphs. But Vae Victus is the only solid lead we've got on the attacks. Since you're the only one who knows where he is, can you speak to him? See if you can get him to cough up anything he might know. Captain, I truly don't. He's already shown he's taken an interest in you. I'll be a lot more useful in the lab right now than I would be. So do you think you could do it? Please? Good. We'll all meet back at Mast, outside the cabinet chambers. They're gonna want to know everything we've uncovered here. Best of luck, Captain. And thank...
Prego, prego. Mappa Centauri. Quartier generale. Qua.
Security here is so visible. I suppose it makes people more comfortable. Most people, anyway.
Greetings, citizen. Welcome to the use.
Mhm.
we at all surprised that the UC has such a massive space dedicated to secrets?
But
Well, what a pleasant surprise. When I heard you and Hadrian were headed for Londinian of all places, I presumed you must be onto something big. Did you find what you were looking for? I haven't been to Londinian in many years. Why? Is there some way I could be of assistance? Were you able to recover what you were looking for? Good news, then. So, what exactly are you doing here? Plenty still to be done in defeating the Terramorphs, no? Did you? Well, I don't know what you think you heard on this recording, but I sincerely hope you didn't come to the wrong conclusions. After all, given the Cabinet's current state of anxiety, they might misinterpret such a discovery to mean I could have been involved with the attacks. Perhaps I can convince you to keep this among us. You want to hear the words, then? I did it. The Terramorph attacks on Tau Ceti, New Atlantis, my doing. Years of coordination between my associate and I, figuring out how to deploy the Lazarus plant's pollen outside of Londinian, learning to synthesize it, use it as a weapon. Now, being as clever as you are, I'm sure you have thoughts on why I might do such a thing. Oh, my revenge was far from petty, Captain. The attacks were a correction. When I discovered the plant, I did consider handing over what I'd found, but we were at war. And I couldn't risk information that dangerous falling into the wrong hands. So I ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport, fixing two problems at once. Halting the spread of the city's Terramorph outbreak, and sealing away knowledge of the plant's potential. Easy to say now, but at the time, I didn't know the Lazarus plant couldn't be plucked from the ground and used to cause... I wasn't going to allow another dangerous variable to be added to an already catastrophic war. But then, as the war ended, my trial, my execution, I made a decision. And what did I get in return? Was there any effort by the UC to protect my legacy? My daughter's legacy? No. We were sacrificed when all we did was serve. So I kept what I'd learned and arranged the attacks to set things right again. My daughter, she becomes a hero. I become a trusted advisor, having found Kaiser, the research team, and cement my new position of influence when I hand them the name of the person responsible for the attack on New Atlantis. The dear departed Dr. Reginald Orlays, the associate who aided me all these years, and whom I always slated to take the fall. What luck he was stopped dead before he could hurt anyone else. His decades on the run brought to an end by another unlikely hero. You. It wasn't easy. But the beauty of being loathed is that people will do whatever they can not to deal with you. They wanted to pretend I didn't exist. And so I used their blind eye to my advantage. Still, establishing a back channel to Orlays via the UC recovery teams was painstaking work. I've led campaigns less nerve-wracking. They believed they were luring in wanted criminals, but were in fact delivering precisely encoded slates, filled with instructions invisible to any but their recipient, dropped off at just the right moments to fall into the proper hands. All without the UC realizing whom they were actually dealing with. Slow work. But as you can see, ultimately effective. Why would I want to be in the good graces of the people who control my very life? I don't know, Captain. Maybe I still dream of a life outside these walls someday. A new face would be needed, of course, but it wasn't an impossibility. Though now, I'm not so sure. Can't remember the many lives you've taken. Orlays was the man whose death you brought about around the moon. The
Mi ricordavo
man I had
perfettamente.
to eliminate. To hide my secret. Captain, please. You've benefited here as much as I have. It's why I had Orlays reprogram Kaiser. Had that old machine guide you to where I found the plant all those years ago. I went to great lengths to ensure your and Hadrian's success. And look at the results. I know for a fact the Cabinet's planning to honor both you and Hadrian once this is all done. Isn't that preferable to languishing away in obscurity? Running jobs on the tail end of nowhere for the Vanguard? With only the vague hopes of perhaps earning the right to buy a home. Precisely. And let's not forget the importance of our actual endgame. Eliminating the Terramorphs. Securing knowledge of the Lazarus plant. What we've set in motion. I'm simply requesting one more life be protected. Mine. I've already sent along the evidence of Orlays' role in the attacks to the Cabinet, leaving out my own involvement. All I ask is that you confirm as much to the Cabinet. Tell them that it was Orlays and Orlays alone. After all, I do still have a long list of threats to the UC. This needn't be the end of our good works together. And how many have you killed to get where you are now? There are no great works that don't cost lives, Captain. Whether it's winning a war, or digging a tram tunnel. So we sacrificed a few dozen in the attacks to possibly protect millions. That seems like a fair exchange to me. I only hope you'll see the same, and leave my name out of the discussions to come. Well, I do hope you'll keep the larger perspective in mind, Captain.
Mm.
How quickly can you get that done?
Abbiamo.
Perfect timing. We just got in. So on our end, good news. The microbe and the Asylees are both as effective against heat leeches as they are against terramorphs.
Means either plan should work for clearing those critters off our worlds.
Considering what the Lazarus plant is capable of, I don't think we can deal with those things fast enough. I already sent along info to the cabinet to get them up to speed. So what about your end? Did you find anything? Did my father tell you what he knew about the Lazarus plant?
Buonasera. L'ho fatto con gli avamposti. Ho creato una rete di avamposti. Ho fatto 70 livelli in mezz'oretta. Forse meno. L'ho andato a raccogliere e poi mi sono messo lì a fare produci, 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 produci. Sì, per forza. Non penso ci sia un altro modo per farlo. Eh sì. Per forza. Comunque ho finito tutto, eh. O meglio, sto finendo l'ultima missione della UC. E poi il resto ho fatto tutto. Qualche missione secondaria manca, poi il resto è fatto. Beh, i templi no, non li faccio, in realtà. Però vabbè. No, no, ho già vista, ma ho scelto di non ricominciare. Perché volevo finire di qua. Cioè, è inutile ricominciare da capo per niente. Tra l'altro mi ha lasciato abbastanza... Come dire? Cioè, è carina l'idea, però...
Hey, you're not done, right?
C'è questo genere di giochi... Ecco, sì, bravo, giusto. Probabilmente se mettevano... Cioè... Ah, ok. E sai cosa? E questo genere di giochi... Cioè, i- questi RPG... In teoria tu devi esplorare tutto, raccogliere, collezionare. Invece qua, alla fine... Cioè, sei premiato se tiri dritto sulla main quest e basta.
Captain?
Sì, ma anche
Captain, please,
quello,
go on.
bah, cioè... Mhm, ok. Sì, sì, immagino. Però, cioè, anche all'1 e con le armi normali già sono fuori scala. Sto giocando già molto difficili con le mod per migliorare un po' la I, perché altrimenti era veramente tedioso. E... Cioè, dovevano in qualche modo dirti finisci la trama principale e non perdere tempo. Che è un po' un'anomalia per questo genere di giochi, ecco. Per quello che... Cioè,
Well, don't leave me in suspense.
è strano, ecco. No, no, ma che tu mi avevi detto di andare avanti, sì, sì, no, è chiaro, chiaro. Ma infatti poi, manco farlo apposta, sono andato molto più veloce di come avrei fatto normalmente. Eh, però, che ci vuoi fare? Sì, sì, certo, certo. Ti dico, per il genere di gioco è... Ma allora, facendo conto che non ho giocato per un paio di settimane, adesso quando finisco tutto mi ci sta anche ricominciarlo, per carità.
Hey, you're not done,
Però...
right?
Sì, sì, ho letto. E tra l'altro mi sono già scaricato la mod che mi cambia per forza l'universo. Perché ho visto che c'è un tasso di possibilità di cambio universo che non è il 100%. Quindi se tipo ti fai 30 volte, perché adesso non mi ricordo, sono tipo 12 universi diversi. Ecco, vedi? È un peccato che ti becchi nessun universo diverso. E quindi c'è questa mod che ti dà al 100% di beccarti un universo differente dal precedente. Almeno quello, cioè almeno l'unica particolarità fa da fare, se no che cazzo serve? È un po' questo il discorso.
Captain? Captain, please, go on.
Mm. Comunque niente, adesso vedremo come va.
I knew it. The second I heard that recording, I knew. Why?
Tanto ho
Say
sentito che
why
qualcuno l'ha
is
finito
it
30 volte il gioco, 35, insomma, andava... Insomma.
killed all those people because of a chip on his shoulder and an obsession with his own status? That sounds like Vivictus. Well, once we inform the cabinet, they can ensure he won't be able to do anything like this
Mm.
ever again.
Sì, ma poi alla fine cioè, dovessi fare le missioni quelle tra virgolette divertenti, invece devi continuare ad andare in giro nei templi, che anche lì, cioè, è una roba veramente noiosa. Ah, sì, sì, infatti, oramai.
I'm sure he did. But he killed dozens of people. And I'm not about to let him get away with something like that. So I guess that gives us our final answer. Nothing left to do but head in and see what the cabinet thinks of it all. Unless there was more to discuss. This might be our last opportunity to talk things through before the
Ma
cabinet
guarda,
weighs in on a decision
io ho messo
regarding Terramorphs.
la mod che migliora l'intelligenza artificiale, perché giocare anche in molto difficili già è noioso così, quindi, insomma, almeno si comporta in maniera un po' più intelligente, un po', perché... Però sì, alla fine il giudizio sul gioco rimane abbastanza
We shouldn't
freddo.
keep the cabinet waiting.
Mm, già. E ma sai che per assurdo trovo questo gioco inferiore a Fallout 4? Che è tutto a dire, per carità. Cioè, nel senso, mi piace, ci ho giocato un milione di ore. Però è troppo... Cioè, è triste quanto sia vecchio. Ma non tanto nella grafica o quelle cose che sai... Me ne frega il giù. No, ma... Certo, New Vegas è un altro livello. Dico Fallout 4 perché Fallout 4 non mi era piaciuto all'epoca. Mi aveva già deluso. Questo mi ha deluso quanto o più di Fallout. E non per la grafica o per cose strane, ma proprio per il fatto
Anything else we
che...
needed to discuss?
Cioè, distruggi la flotta Cremisi. E quelli della SIRDIF dicono: Ah, mi piacerebbe avere noi questa struttura orbitante, ci farebbe comoda come base. Invece non cambia un cazzo, cioè, nel senso, rimane tutto quanto lì così frizzato. Non c'è cambiamento, non c'è. Cioè, tutto quello che fai praticamente non impatta sul mondo di gioco. Incontri la stessa gente nello spazio, non si ricorda che esisti. Ah, in teoria no. Teoricamente dalle descrizioni pare abbiano speso un botto di soldi. Solo che, cioè, mi viene proprio il dubbio che il Bethesda ormai, cioè,
Captain!
quello sa fare. Quello sa fare e si limita a fare quello. Non rischia, non... Anche lì, grande punto di domanda. Vedremo. Vedremo. No, sinceramente no. Sono rimasto un po' indietro. No, non ho veramente presente.
Anything else we needed to discuss?
Ma guarda, ti svelo che tutto ciò che è nuovo, essenzialmente aspetto giocarlo. È stata, non dico un errore, però insomma è stato non posso dire, un farsi fregare, giocare subito a un gioco appena uscito. Cioè, ormai i giochi vanno giocati un anno dopo. Ma anche solo per il fatto che patchano, moddano. Cioè, già Starfield giocato settembre 2024 mi sarebbe piaciuto molto di più. Speriamo, eh. Sarebbe anche ora.
It's hard to know. Unlike my father, the cabinet aren't butchers. But killing. But if you're really that concerned, you could request they be lenient. They might be willing to spare him. Asilies aren't hostile to humans, but they are megafauna. If someone decides to pick a fight with one, it could get ugly. But they've already been spread far and wide once before when the UC was raising them as livestock, so the risk of introducing them to new worlds is minimal. Using them to clean up the terramorphs and leeches, though, it's not going to be nearly as expedient as the microbe would be. Given what we know now about the Lazarus plant, the speed of the job does matter. But going with the Asilies, we're at least dealing with known risks.
Non ci ho ancora giocato, tra l'altro.
They are.
Microbe needed minimal adjustment to account for heat leech anatomy.
And the Asilies seem like they're even better at tracking leeches than morphs.
Hell of a sight to watch, though, when they catch them. Like an open airlock guzzling angry spaghetti. Microbe is gonna make the cleanup a whole lot quicker. If we're concerned about this Lazarus plant getting deployed again, that's the way to go.
The cabinet can secure the Lazarus plant, and then we're not risking any surprises when it comes to dealing with a microbe.
You're being paranoid. You know the science. You know we can make this safe.
I do know the science. I also know math. And a 1 in a million chance of a mutation isn't
È un altro di
zero.
quei giochi che dovrò sicuramente
So
giocare
I
comunque,
guess
eh.
we're still in discussion. Probably best at this point to let the cabinet weigh in. See if they have a preference. And here we go.
Andiamo a parlare col gabinetto. E fare l'ennesima scelta che non comporterà nessun cambiamento nel gioco come sempre. Che gioia.
Welcome back, all of you. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances. But according to Hadrian's report, and the second one I just received, it seems the Terramorph attack on New Atlantis was no random occurrence, but a planned strike. Is what I'm reading here true? The second report claims to know the perpetrator as well, Did Reginald Orlays actually commit these attacks, Captain?
Orlays?
Mm-hmm.
It's true, ma'am. I heard the recording myself. My father figured out how to use terramorphs as weapons.
He did what?
That's impossible. He doesn't have the kind of access to...
Clearly, he made his own access, Chief Sarkin. Madam President, I have been saying for years that not dealing with that man was gonna end in tragedy.
Enough! I hope everyone here understands that what has just been shared is a state secret of the highest order. This information does not leave this room. Now, that's quite the accusation you're leveling, considering Francois Sinon has not left containment for the better part of 2 decades. You have evidence to back this up?
It just transformed. A terramorph out of thin air. An invisible weapon. No planet would be safe.
Heavens help us. Is that actually him?
I'd know that voice anywhere. That's Francois.
He knew they could do this, and said nothing.
He's a sociopath. Plain and simple, ma'am.
Officer, please collect that recording.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Begging your pardon, Captain.
We'll, of course, be launching a full investigation into how this could have happened. Though I have little doubt the Admiral will be quick to share all he knows on the subject once confronted with that recording. Chief Yassine, can you send one of your interrogators to have a little chat with the Admiral?
I'll issue the order immediately.
Good. Combined with everything else you all have uncovered. Well, I don't think the United Colonies can thank you enough. We failed the people of the colonies by not dealing with Vayvictus sooner. I intend to rectify that mistake immediately. That's truly disconcerting to hear. But cutting off Vayvictus's contact with the outside world is likely to be just the beginning of his punishment. That will be up to the cabinet to decide. But I don't appreciate our mercy being taken advantage of. I'm not sure I see why someone with UC blood on their hands would merit leniency. But I will note your request when the decision is made. Now, with our villain unmasked, we can attend to the other matters at hand. With the threads you've brought together here, the Lazarus plant, the attacks, the 3 of you have likely spared thousands of lives. But it now falls. As such, the cabinet will be securing the Lazarus plant on Londinian. All materials related to the plant will be classified to ensure no one else learns its true nature.
A sound decision, Madam President.
Well, luckily the natural hostility of Londinian makes keeping out trespassers relatively easy. But we'll ensure its growth is contained, that access to the plant is only permitted via highly regulated clearances, and that our troop presence on Londinian is increased.
Tell the Freestar Collective. Wow. So they have another tool to utilize against us?
I'm in agreement. I fail to see the value here.
Agreed. Any effort to de-escalate the situation should be considered. Being as open as possible would be a valuable move.
Oh, that is an interesting idea. A grand gesture to further display this cabinet doesn't think like those of the past.
The observers on Mars have proven such a gesture can bear fruit.
So, you want us to make nice with the collective by sharing our state secrets?
No, I want us to display plainly the UC's actual intentions, that the plant will never be used as a weapon
Sì.
again.
That does sound worthwhile.
Però
Very well. We'll get the collective involved in the management. Thank you for the suggestion, Captain. So then, to our final
sai
topic.
cosa? È che
The cabinet has agreed to implement a
cioè, lo so
plan
che i
that will
tempi sono
give the
cambiati,
teamwork and
però
now also
il
heat
gioco deve
each
essere
presence on human
figo
worlds.
al giorno 1.
In fact, we've already begun enacting measures to check all UC ports and settlements for undiscovered nests. But we all understand this is only a partial solution. The project we're embarking on will be a long and difficult one. So our first step must be deciding how exactly this all will be handled.
Madam President, this microbe is clearly too much of a risk. The Aseles are the safer approach.
To someone with limited knowledge of biology, perhaps. The technology behind the microbe is solved science, Madam President. It isn't dangerous. Using it to wipe out the Terramorphs would be the quickest path to protecting humanity.
And fast results always lead to the best outcomes, don't they?
As you can see, there remains debate among the cabinet. We were hoping your group might issue a
Perché è
recommendation.
online?
Major?
We've been having similar debates ourselves, but the captain has yet to weigh in.
I see. Captain, I know this may not be your area of expertise, but we'd like to know your take on the matter.
Ma boh. Sì, però che cioè il gioco rimane quello. Per me l'errore è stato non finirlo. Ma a me piacciono i single player, ma devono essere single player. Questo è, cioè, è un gioco incompleto.
Gather your thoughts, and please, ask. The responsibilities will be spread across multiple branches of the UC. Research and day-to-day administration will be handled by a new group under the Science Division. All diplomatic concerns and coordination will fall to Chief Yassine and Interstellar Affairs. But most of the actual on-the-ground work, that'll be handled by the Vanguard. This won't work without them.
Exactly right, ma'am. The Interstellar Affairs Office has already begun reaching out to worlds throughout the settled systems, informing them of the risks we're all facing, and that the UC has a plan to prevent what happened on New Atlantis from happening elsewhere. Thus far, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. The spirit of mutual cooperation displayed between the UC and the Freestar Collective in managing the Terramorph data set a good tone for the work we're doing, Captain. We expect we'll hit some resistance, but our office has plenty of carrots and sticks to ensure the program's widespread success.
Non lo so, il problema per me è quello che alla fine, cioè, il single player è un single player. E, cioè, Metal Gear, per esempio, anche se metti cioè, la parte online è... E il problema è che qua il single player è stato fatto raffazionato, cioè, appunto.
Infinitesimally low.
But not zero.
The chance of a starship landing on you as you sit here isn't zero, yet you still attended. Personally, my fear isn't mutation, but Terramorphs developing a resistance. But that's something our group can continue to address if we decide to take this approach, as I believe we should. I can feel this one. While intimidating creatures, certainly, Aseles are docile unless provoked. They're honestly closer to oversized mobile scanners than deadly predators. The concern is that, while all proposed methods will be long-term efforts, the Aseles are the slowest. Slow to breed, slow to deploy. We do everything we could to accelerate that process, including mustering some of our mothballed cloning technologies. But if we do elect to use this method, we'll be doing things at the pace of a megafauna, which is not an expedient one.
Very
Va
well.
bene.
Then did you have a preference on the method we should deploy?
Buonanotte. Grazie per essere passato.
Glad to see someone's not afraid of a little applied genetics. The science division is in full agreement.
Let us hope this science division truly knows what they are doing.
Grand threats
Andrea, già non ci
merit
dovresti
grand
essere tu.
actions.
Cosa vuoi?
And grand actions are precisely what our group does.
Order, please. And Major Sinan? Dr. Walker, you'd find this acceptable?
We trust the captain's judgment.
Then the matter is settled. We'll begin the process immediately. Today marks day one for the United Colonies Terramorph Management Division, making you three the founding members of the TMD. As befits such a group, the Cabinet wanted to display its gratitude. Today, we will be adding 3 new Class 1 citizens to our ranks.
Class 1? For the 3 of us? Are you joking?
What he means to say is, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a status reserved only for those who've dedicated their lives to the United Colonies, or done great things for its cause. Class 1s enjoy an ample credit disbursement, an additional reduction on the... And I'm told the penthouse is rather impressive. You all have earned it. Now, there's much to be done. Major Sinan, Dr. Walker, I hope you two are willing to continue your efforts, spearheading the TMD's research on Mars.
We'd be honored, ma'am.
And as a member of both the Vanguard and the TMD, I believe you, Captain, will have your pick of duties. Speak to your commander, Tuala, if I recall correctly. He should be able to provide you with assignments going forward, plus help you collect the benefits that come with being named Class 1. On behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our sincerest gratitude. This meeting is adjourned.
Bene.
If we can avoid entering that building, I would prefer it. Let us just say I am...
Well, I've got to say, this is a
allergic to
first.
bureaucracy.
Never had a class... It's a high honor. Have to do something big for the colonies to earn that sort of designation. Only ever met a couple myself, and certainly never given one orders. You should be real proud. No need to thank me. You brought this all on yourself. I've already gone ahead and processed your Class 1 benefits. All UC goods and services should now have a thanks for protecting the colonies discount. And the credits should be in your accounts now. But to get into your penthouse, you'll have to pay a visit to the Aphelion Realty office. They should be able to grant you access. Higher-ups wanted to make sure you know how much they appreciate what you've done. But with all that squared, it's time to get you a new assignment. There are your standard Vanguard missions, putting those pilot skills to use defending UC space. Or you could help the TMD in cleaning up terramorphs. Oh, and I got a request from Dr. Walker. Wanted your help collecting biological samples to keep an eye out for any, new alien threats on the horizon. Any of those missions call to you? Any chance to bag some bugs, right? Well, I can provide. Let me just check my logs. Okay, these coordinates should get you something to report? Could use a hand clearing out some United... You interested? All right, let's get you the details. These missions are straightforward. Proceed to the location, kill the critter before it can do any more harm. Just be smart out there. Those vessels are about to learn what it means to be on the UC's bad side. Or transferring that to you? Done.
Quindi ora mi danno la casa nuova. Ciao tizia.
Well, in fact, it's a premium penthouse. What do you say? It'll just take a second to get you ready. Great. You're in for a real treat. Okay, you're all set. Your new home's located in Mercury. You'll love the place. It has a gorgeous floor plan, and now that you're an owner, I'm sure I'll be seeing you around town.
Bene. Anche questa l'abbiamo smarcata.
Informed us of your new status. Congratulations on making class.
Che sarà su Marte. Infatti.
At least the only smell I shall have to deal with is myself. Not that I smell bad, I just... Never mind.
This is a dangerous assignment, but you all are here because you can handle it. So any questions, concerns, anything at all giving you pause, you come see Dr. Walker or I. Little problems left unchecked become big problems. And we fix big problems here, not make them. Now let's get to work. Welcome everyone to the TMD.
Howdy.
Excuse me. Pardon.
Look who it is. You heard right. These terramorph attacks, they caught the UC off guard. UC brass doesn't like that. So, they want us patrolling the front lines of xenological life, ensure we've got intel on any possible new alien threats. Which means, we need someone to track down said aliens, and harvest samples from them. And not just any sample from these animals is gonna do either. We're trying to build a comprehensive picture here. which requires specific cells from specific family lines of some oftentimes unfriendly creatures. But since dealing with unfriendly creatures falls square in your wheelhouse, well, I figured we might be able to recruit you for the task. Glad to hear it. There is just one additional wrinkle. UC spec this as a one-person job, but I convinced them this sort of task merit. So, if you're interested, they've agreed to let you take Hadrian with you. You'll have to convince her, of course, but I don't think she'll fight you too badly. We could use Hadrian here, absolutely, but we have other scientists. Not a lot of other people can go up against apex predators, and you and Hadrian are the right people for this job. I expect she wouldn't mind too badly being... Now, let's get you the details of your first quarry. Here you go. Head there. Watch yourself. Some nasty creatures outside these walls. And inside them, for that matter. Catch up later, then. And so you know, you shouldn't need to kill these critters to harvest the required cells.
Non è tutte bellissime da darmi, vero?
Ultimately made a mistake in resurrecting.
Va bene.
This place.
Captain, looks like we missed each other back at Mast. Listen, I just wanted to say, I could have never guessed where all this was going to lead. But now, knowing what I do, that my father truly is the monster I always thought he was. Well, I've just spent a lot of my life in pursuit of the truth. So, you bringing it straight to me, it just means a lot. The best ones certainly do. You know, I was thinking, while we were up on that podium, if I wanted to try and see him again. But I knew the answer, because confronting him, what would I have gained from that? Now, all I'd be doing is acknowledging that he still has some sway over my life. And while I'm not about to let him control my future. And thanks to what words can't do justice. He said that? I guess you're right. I always imagined that future would be... Besides, Percival will never let me forget it if I turn down. If you really need backup out there. Yeah, thank you for the offer. Really. It was unexpected, but... I'll head out soon. I just need to talk to Percival before I go. He's gonna get an earful for arranging this without talking to me about it first. See you, Captain.
Sì, che poi alla fine queste sono missioni ripetitive come le altre. Immagino. Quindi in teoria abbiamo finito. Eh.
Mom?
Yes?
Bene. Buonanotte.